Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Kalista updated complete guide, of course, for our latest patch. Now, unfortunately, Kalista not really in the best spot right now, one of the worst ADCs, but despite that, still one of the most fun ADCs to play. But before we talk about the loadout, don't forget to check out her basic guide in the cards above right now for her skills, living order, tips and tricks, as well as a couple of combos. But with that said, now let's actually quickly talk about her items, runes, and spells. So personally, I think the best way to build Kalista is just full attack speed on hit build. There is a variant where you can include a Bloodthirst, so let's take a look at the top players. So I mean, there's only one influencer playing Kalista apparently. So everybody's starting off with Runan's first item. I don't like where that's going. And actually everybody has gone for the Bloodthirster build, where you go for Bloodthirster as your third item, which is a common variant that I do think has its place. But let's explain why I think this is the best build, with some variations, of course. So you definitely want to start with the Berserker's Greaves, because you do get the early game attack speed. That's very important for Kalista, because her hopping speed scales off of attack speed, so you just want to stack attack speed. Now, you always want to start off with the Blade of the Rune King. Now, despite what all the top players are doing, I think sometimes you gotta apply a little bit of logic. In terms of Blade of the Rune King gives you AD attack speed, physical vamp, and current health on hit damage, as well as the Dream passive, giving you some dueling potential and giving you some kill potential, which Runan's does not give, because Runan's give trash stats. It gives 35% attack speed, which is great, but you only get 15 AD, which is almost negligible. It gives you as much as your boots, by the way. And the main good part about this is that it applies your spears onto 3 people, also applies on hit onto 3 people, but if you go for this first, you're gonna have no on hit at that point. And putting spears into people is nice and all, but you're gonna have no damage anyway. So I think going for Runan's first is just a trap, right? I've tried Runan's first on Kalista before, I've tried Runan's first on Twitch before. I think Runan's should just never ever be a first item, no matter how well your champion does with Runan's, right? So then the after these two core items, honestly the rest of the build is pretty variable. So what I've chosen to go for next is actually Terminus. So Terminus, of course, more of the same stats, AD and attack speed, on hit magic damage, as well as stacking resistances and stacking penetrations. And then you have Wit's End. Now Wit's End is a little more situational. I would sub out Wit's End for a Bloodthirster here, or maybe even a Phantom Dancer, depending on the circumstance. But a lot of games, there's going to be magic damage on the enemy team, and Wit's End just is a pretty cheap item, gives you a lot of attack speed, gives you magic resist and healing, so it's just nicer. The only time you want to sub it out is when there's no magic damage on the enemy team. And last item, Twin Guard, is always an amazing option, because with Kalista, you're always going to be in close range, close proximity, because of your short range, so you're going to be taking a lot of damage. So getting the extra defenses from Twin Guard just makes sense, right? So now for the runes, it's pretty much the standard ADC loadout, except that you want to go for Coup de Grace instead of Giant Slayer, because with Kalista, your spears are going to proc off of Coup de Grace, so you always want Coup de Grace, since they're going to just increase your spear damage when you rend them out. Right, so for the spells, I like to go for Flash. Now, if you need Cleanse, go for Cleanse, but Barrier is actually very important here, because, oops, because, oh, we don't want that. Because in the early game fights, Barrier could make the difference between getting a kill and dying. So you do want to snowball from the early game with Kalista, ideally, so I think going for Barrier just makes the most sense here. But with all that said, now let's talk about our gameplay. Okay, so now onto the gameplay section of the video. As usual, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Of course, you guys know I will be sure to address them. So in this game, we do have a little bit of a problem. We kind of don't have any AP. Now, MF is building AD. It's not an AP MF mid, but we're a full AD team. Now, thankfully, on the enemy team, the only real tank is Alistar, although if I was champions like Lee Sin, or Yasuo, or even Kaisa, for example, I would definitely be going for armor boots. So that's definitely a detriment when you have a full AD team. But yeah, that's just a little bit unfortunate, as MF and Yasuo get into a full-on skirmish at the start. MF tanks a tower shot, and Alistar just whacks her back into the tower to get first blood. So pretty messy early game already. But we're starting off the game playing as Kalista against Kaisa. So honestly, Kalista is a pretty strong early game champion, so long as you can actually get an all-in, right? So here, Alistar just whacks my pike over towards the Kaisa. Kaisa takes a lot of damage. Now honestly, I did think of flash auto E onto the Kaisa there. I think there is a decent chance that that kills the Kaisa, but honestly I haven't played Kalista in such a long time that I wasn't 100% sure, and I didn't want to take the risk, because if that fails, it would be a waste of my flash, and also it would look a bit foolish, right? And here you see Kaisa's taking a lot of damage. Again, the flash auto E is something that's going across my mind, but I'm not doing it at the moment. So, like I said, right, Kalista, the main weakness she has is her lack of range and her vulnerability to poke, right? So, if you're playing against champions like Caitlyn or Ezreal, you're going to be in deep trouble because they're just going to be poking you out and you're not going to be having a good time whatsoever. But however, if you're playing against a more all-in focused champion that doesn't have range, a champion like Kaisa, for example, that is gonna be pretty okay. As Lee Sin here gets completely collapsed down because we have lane prior, he takes a bunch of damage. I get a little bit CC here. A lot of people are very low. We have MF roaming from mid lane as well. And overall, a little bit of a skirmish, but not too much really happening there. So anyways, we're just going to continue on with our farming. But if you, like I said, if you are against those like all-in style champions, you're actually going to be in pretty good shape, right? So, of course, you are actually pretty weak against a lot of champions, right? So basically, you're weak against range. So range are champions like, you know, Caitlyn, like Ashe, like Jinx, you know, these kind of champions. Ezreal, you struggle against them. And of course, if you're against bursty champions like MF, like Jhin, or like Lucian, you're also going to struggle against them. So honestly, Kalista doesn't have so many good matchups. But the few matchups that are not too bad for Kalista are champions like Varus, who does poke a little bit, but not too much, especially now that he builds AP. I think honestly, Draven is also a pretty okay matchup for Kalista. You know, things like that, right? So here, Pyke is going very aggressive. Of course, Alistar does not yet have ult, so he's not actually very tanky, right? So even focusing Alistar is not that bad of a thing. Pyke here goes for a hook, actually hooks the Alistar. So here I'm actually getting off a lot of damage onto Alistar, and the ignite comes through, and I'm able to Ren to actually get the kill onto the Alistar. So a key thing to note here is that tanky supports are really not that tanky in the early game, and unless of course like you're a Leona with a W, like you're pretty tanky, but like, you know, champions like Nautilus, Alistar, a lot of the other tank supports, they're not really that tanky until you get items, or like until you hit level 5 for Alistar, for example. So pretty much gonna be fine. So here I'm gonna go for this plate. Kaisa is actually one of Kalista's best matchups in my opinion, because Kaisa can't really fight you in the wave and can definitely and will definitely want to 1v1 you, but I think with the Baron you might be able to actually fight it out with the Kaisa, who's also not really in the best spot right now in terms of just ADCs. I think Tristana's not a decent matchup because she kind of can't really do very much, can't really poke you, has to kind of jump in and put the bomb and all in you as well. So you both kind of want to all in each other, which I guess kind of just works out for the both of you depending on how your supports play and who your supports are. It's a lot more important as to who will really win that matchup. Now, Alistar manages to mess up the combo somehow. Like, Alistar combo is really easy to do. All you do is like you double tap your W and you're gonna get the combo every time. So whenever I see an Alistar kind of knock people away and then knock up nothing, it's just really weird because Alistar combo is like, it's really simple to do, to be very honest. I'm not sure why people are not really getting it. Like, the game has an inbuilt way to do Alistar combo by double tapping your W, same as for example Samira double tapping her E will cast her Q automatically, or like Jarvan double tapping the E will cast the Q towards the flag automatically. It's just one of those game mechanics. But yeah, so we're off to the races. We're off to a pretty good start. Early game kill is always a good thing. The most ideal scenario, of course, is like a lot of other like early game champions like Lucian or MF. The ideal is like you just snowball the game out of control, but I think with Kalista's a lot harder because Kalista honestly kind of requires the enemy team to misplay a little bit. Because with Kalista, with those dashes, you can really run someone down. Like you can see here, like you can kite Alistar out, you can run him down. However, he was kind of just waiting for Lee Sin. I popped the barrier. Barrier actually blocks a lot of damage, but Lee Sin just combos me and I just pretty much die. Not too much I can do about that. Yeah, so with Kalista, you kind of need your enemy to misplay because you're gonna need time and space to run them down. Like, she's not gonna be able to burst someone out instantly like a Lucian, for example, or a Jhin or an MF. Like, you really need, you're attack speed champion, right? So you need time and space to run them down, get them to that threshold, and then ren to like kill them. So if they don't misplay, it's really difficult for you to actually like kill them, like unless your support gets an insane engage and CCs them for an eternity, or catches them out, like, you know, with a Blitzcrank hook or a Pyke hook in this case, right? So could happen. But here's a huge wave. I'm trying desperately to clear the wave because they're so far overextended. A fight is very likely. Rel is here as well, so I feel like a fight here is very likely. Very nice knock up there from Alistar. the Alistar gets pulled in by Pyke. A pretty nice ult by MF. Alistar flashes out, but Kaisa does not have flash, so she ends up going down. Hook comes in instantly onto the Gwen. Gwen takes a lot of damage. Now this fight actually looks pretty good at the beginning, but even as Rel hits like a 3-man stun, I just am too low to really get into range to really do the damage that I want to do. So it ends up that basically I'm just trying my best to stay at range and do damage, but I'm not really getting off the damage that I want to. So we don't really have the damage to finish people off. It ends up becoming a 1-for-1 trade overall, although trading the ADC for the tank jungler I think is definitely a good trade. Right, here Rel has first item Sunfire Aegis, which kind of makes sense for jungle because that is going to help you out in your clear. I'm not too sure how good Rel jungle is, but here you can see Alistar hops over the wall, and he already ulted previously, so here I'm just flashing to finish the kill onto him. Now we're whacking Yasuo. Yasuo with a very horrible wind wall, we're able to, or the Pyke is able to kill him. And here now we're going on to the Lee Sin, who is running for the hills. Pyke trying to chase him down, but over chases a little bit, and Lee Sin gets the kill onto him. Now I'm trying to chase Lee Sin. I'm having my stacking the tempo here. I know he's like just a little bit above the threshold of the spears, so I'm trying to chase him down here. I'm cutting out the Gwen. Now here, during this entire time, Kaisa is just hitting my tower and not quite caring about what's happening behind her. So now I'm gonna go stop her, and the thing is that if she actually gets caught out by me, which is what's happening here, like I get that first auto in, I'm just gonna keep on jumping. She's gonna die, right? Even with flash, she still dies. Like that's the problem with Kalista. I think that's both a pro and a con of Kalista, right? The main issue with Kalista is you need the enemy team to kind of make mistakes, right? But if they do, you have a very easy time punishing. Like even with the flash, right? She can't even escape because I have a free dash after every auto. So the moment I get into range, I am going to run you down, right? Which is exactly what happened there. I just get into range of the Kaisa. I'm just running her down without too big of an issue. And we just get the kill on her despite the fact that she tried to flash away. And at this point, I have like a almost 1.5, actually I do have a 1.5 plus K goal lead against the Kaisa. I'm 4-1-1 with my board completed already at that point. And now with an extra recurve roll for even more attack speed. So I'm having a pretty good time, right? The main thing about Kalista, you want to stack attack speed so that you can hop around faster, which is also one of the main reasons why I don't think Bloodthirster is always the best item for Kalista. It gives you only 15% attack speed. It does give you a lot of AD, yes, but you don't benefit from it so much in the sense that you're not building crit, so you get less physical vamp, you don't get attack speed as much. I still think it's a good item for Kalista. But honestly, if I want to go for a crit item, I might even consider Phantom Dancer. Although Phantom Dancer did just get reworked, so I think that the old Phantom Dancer is definitely better than the new one. Now here you can see I'm trying to run the Alistar down, and if he didn't hit button me away there, I would have easily been able to run him down because I would have the range to like just keep on going, and he doesn't have ult, so I would have actually killed him. Now here Alistar tries to combo me, but there's completely no follow-up, and I'm almost running him down again. Sorry, I do run him down again, and now we're onto the Gwen. We're inside of her mist, and we just easily get a double kill now. TP comes in from the Yasuo. Pretty good wind wall by Yasuo this time. However, I'm cutting around the wind wall. Very nice ulti by him. We're still able to kill him. However, Kaisa is able to ult across and finally get her first kill of the game. Pyke misses the hook pretty unfortunately and is now in a little bit of trouble. MF eventually gets the kill. Now Lee Sin's trying to chase for the low HP Pyke and the low HP MF. However, Darius comes in from the side, doesn't get the hook onto the Lee Sin, and Lee Sin is able to finish off the MF with a well-placed Q. Darius looks like he goes AFK for a second there, and now he's just whacking Alistar now. Darius is a pretty big counter to tanks because you can see he basically free stacks onto the Alistar. Now Lee Sin cannot go in here because if Lee Sin goes in, he's going to get one shot by Darius who has full stacks at this point. So Alistar is sacrificed to the wolves, and Pyke gets a free ult here. I even came to back my team up because the fight was lasting so long, but turns out they didn't really need it. I complete my Runaan's Hurricane. I get an extra dagger for more attack speed. 7-2-2 at this point. Lee Sin has the most gold in the game, but I'm a close second. Not even that close actually. Lee Sin's like 1.5k gold up on me, but Lee Sin's definitely doing very well. Yasuo now coming in from the side. Wind wall comes up, which means you won't have it for the next fight. You can see here Kaisa just overextends. I get ulted by Yasuo again, which is definitely a little bit irritating, but he ults into my entire team, so he's just gonna go down. Now Gwen decides that she wants the action. Lee Sin unfortunately comes in from the side, boots me to the other side, and just one-shots me. I mean, Lee Sin is so fed at this point. He has like 2 full items and going for his Serelda's next, and very nicely played. That flash over the Pyke stun, the Pyke ghost was amazing to prevent himself from getting stunned. He actually gets a quadra kill here. Rel just farming her jungle in the meanwhile. Of course, I'm gonna assume Rel's jungle clear is not very quick because she is, after all, a tank. Now she's going for Leandries, which does give her a bit of tankiness, but gives her a bit of damage as well. She does have AP scaling, so that's kind of fine. Now she's trying to one-man enter the pit, and she does get the steal, which is huge, right? The steal onto the Baron there is amazing, because that just denies the enemy team the Baron, and we get the Baron instead when we all just died and don't really deserve it. Lee Sin now getting caught out. Very intelligently kicks me away. I think this Lee Sin's a very good player. He kicks me away because I'm of course the main damage. Pyke though is able to finish the job. So fortunately, unfortunately I wasted my flash. Fortunately, Lee Sin died, and Pyke tries to follow up here. Gwen is in trouble. Is able to kite the Darius out. And here Alistar and Kaisa are now just getting run down. I realize that there's no point in really chasing here, so I'm just gonna go and get the enemy Grom. Anything we can deny from this Lee Sin is always gonna be a good thing. And here Rel is respawning. Lee Sin's still dead, so this is gonna be a free dragon for my team, denying the enemy team Infernal Soul, which of course is probably the best soul. And here you can see I'm leaving the dragon to farm the wave, but MF has the same idea, and MF has that strut movement speed. I've seen a lot of people with this new MF skin, by the way. Like, I know you need to gacha about 10k wild cores for this skin, but I've seen so many people have this skin. Like, is this skin really that good that everybody is gachaing for this skin? I think it's just a average, like to above average skin, right? I don't think it's like amazing of a skin. So anyways, here a huge team fight is happening. Gwen is trying to run me down, gets an insane amount of damage onto me with the Q and the ulti, but you can see here I'm basically just trying to kite out the fight and just get damage on her back. And Yasuo goes down, Gwen goes down as well. Alistar now in the back line, has nowhere to go. Both myself as well as MF pick up double kills. Not sure how that... Actually wait, it's only MF that picked up a double kill, not me. Because there's still 2 people alive, so that mathematically would not make sense. Now Lee Sin gets flashed on and gets eliminated from the map. Only Kaisa is left alive, and this does mean that we can get the in-hit for free because Kaisa's not going to be able to defend it by herself. But it's just mid lane in-hit, so it's really not that valuable. Now, since there's so many people hitting in-hit, I'm just clearing the minions to secure the goal at this point. And now, of course, is where we want to back off. So while backing off, I'm just taking a look at the enemy jungle, getting the jungle timers and just checking for camps, which I don't think will be there, but they're going to base. We complete our terminus, which, as I said, I think this item order just makes the most sense for me personally. Like, you get the 2 core items, and then Terminus just gives you so many benefits, right? AD, attack speed, on-hit damage, penetration, resistances. Like, I think it just makes the most sense here. I think Bloodthirster is fine to go here as well. But we do have people who like to go for Bloodthirster earlier. Like, there was that build where you go, like, Bork into Runans into Bloodthirster, no, you go Bork into Bloodthirster, and then you delay Runans the 3rd item, which I think people don't really like, and I don't like it either, because I think Runans is so important for Kalista just to spread her damage. And you saw the top 3 players, right? They basically went for a weird order where they go Bloodthirster 3rd, and then Twin Guard 4th, and then only last item you go for Terminus. Like, why are you going for Terminus last item? It's really, really weird to me. Anyways, you get really gas. So I'm a little bit too far overextended here. Kaisa ults in, I get exhausted. I'm just going to pop the stasis to run down the exhaust. And here I'm just trying to kite out, I flash out. Unfortunately, Kaisa decides to chase me by herself, and she has so many spears in her back already. The threshold is almost like half of her HP, so a bit unlucky for her. But here, since I have lifesteal, I can just like lifesteal off of the minions while I'm farming them. I don't have to necessarily recall. I'm not going to die to the minions. So I get the fruit as well, just farming up these Krugs, farm that next minion wave as well. There's no threat to me because I can see all 3 alive enemy members on the map, and they're mid and top, so no one's coming for me here. I clear out the jungle camp as well as the wave, and then I can reset and I pick up another recurve bow. Of course, I want to build into Wit's End, which technically only really counters Gwen, and Gwen does true damage, so it helps a limited amount, right? So here Rel is in a 1v2 against the Yasuo and the Lee Sin. I'm trying to make it there because Lee Sin's pretty low, so he has to play this fight well, right? Unfortunately, by the time I make it here, it's only in time to just get destroyed by the 2 of them. Now, both of them are pretty low, very horrible Pyke ultimate there, but does get the kill on Yasuo eventually, goes pretty low, and is able to eventually get out. Now, Darius with not really the best combo there, but is able to get the kill, which is what is important. And only Kaisa is left alive once again. Now Pyke here now going to explore the enemy jungle, All of our waves are pushing, which is amazing because both objectives are going to be up soon. Baron is already up, Dragon's coming up real soon. Kai'San just randomly cutting the wave and just farming there, but in the meantime, Alistar is not going to be able to defend this tower by himself. Slowly just getting stacked on by Darius. However, it's pretty dangerous because this is right outside the enemy team's base, right? So it can only go one of two ways. Either Darius gets stacked on everybody and just kills everyone, or like what you see here, they overextend and they die. So unfortunately, it was not Darius going 1v5, it was just Darius dying. However, this does distract the entire enemy team onto the wrong side of the map. And by wrong side of the map, I mean the side of the map that's away from Dragon. I don't know if I would necessarily call it the wrong side of the map, because they could just go for the Baron whilst we go for the Dragon. And I think that might be happening because we don't see anybody on the map. So I think they probably are doing the Baron. They are actually. Rel, very intelligent to actually check the Baron. So here I'm trying to enter the area now. Lots of wards here. They actually secure the Baron already. Alistar messes up his combo again, pushing me to safety. MF is not with us, and Darius is dead. So this is a 3v like 5, so this is very dangerous. You can see I'm just playing at range, just trying to get free autos onto whoever I can. I'm doing a lot of damage, by the way. Like, look at like me half healthing the Gwen and the Kai'Sa. Now Lee Sin hits the Q on me. I have my finger over my stasis button, just in case I need to pop the stasis. Because Lee Sin, if he kicks me into his team, I am screwed, right? So I don't want that to happen. I need to stasis that if he jumps in. Here we clear out the enemy vision, we put down vision of our own, and we're slowly chasing into the enemy team, right? Because this is very dangerous because it's a choke point, so I didn't want to really go past the choke point, but a very insane rel engage into MF ult. We get rid of the Gwen. Now here, I have the stasis because that last auto is going to kill me because it's going to proc Kai'Sa passive. Now that Kai'Sa is dead, I can run up again. And Lee Sin is the last member of the enemy team alive. We have a wave here. So if Lee Sin dies, we can viably end the game. I'm pretty low, but we're 5v1, so I'm like, there's no way Lee Sin kills me right now. The main reason Lee Sin kills me here is because Pyke hooked him to me. So Pyke literally killed me by hooking the Lee Sin. So Lee Sin has GA, but he's now 1v4. I don't think a GA is going to save him. Gets stunned, gets thrown, gets perma CC'd, and just dies. Now, our minion wave unfortunately does end up dying, so we're going to have to kind of back off a little bit for the moment and wait for the next wave, which is right here. And we're going to be able to end the game right as the enemy team is starting to respawn. So there we have the Kalista game for you guys. I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.